and welcome back. This is episode 3 in our skincare series, and I am very excited today because we are making hyaluronic acid serum. This is a very, very popular cosmeceutical, and it's also very, very pricey. For instance, the Skin Medica hydrating complex is going for about $160 for 1 ounce of product. Today's product that we'll be making is going to cost maybe a couple dollars, if that. And really the only difference is that our product will not have any preservatives in it, which is fine. If it's that inexpensive, we'll just make it often. And as far as the shelf life for these products, I would go by maybe a month or a few weeks, depending on the climate in your house, how warm your environment is. Also, if you're using any essential oils, if you're using lavender, that's going to extend the shelf life of your cosmeceutical a little bit more than if you didn't use it. Also, I'm going to suggest that you have nearby your emulsified oil blend that we made in a previous episode, that was episode 1, in case that you want to add that to our mixture today. Hyaluronic acid is a water-based solution, and so you do not want to add oil to that. You'll want to add an emulsified solution to that if you do want to add any essential oils and get those healing benefits. So all that you're going to need today is some distilled water, and I do suggest distilled versus from your tap or filtered water because we want to minimize the contaminants in our products so we can extend that shelf life. I've measured out about 2 ounces in each of these beakers. These are pretty cool. They're not necessary, but they are silicone, so they make pouring a lot easier. So something that you may want to consider investing in if you're going to be making a lot of this. Also, you're going to want to get some hyaluronic acid powder. And this is something that you can get on Amazon. I don't remember how much I paid for this, but it really was not much at all. Particularly considering 1 ounce of product at Skin Medica is about $160. The other thing that you will need is a jar or a bottle to put your solution in. Now, depending on how concentrated or how thick your solution is will determine what kind of bottle or jar works best for you. I have recycled this Burt's Bees glass jar, so if you make a really thick solution that's more like a gel, this works really well. You're dipping your fingers in it, and so you just have to make sure your hands are clean when you're using it so you can extend that shelf life again. My preference is making a serum solution, which is a little bit liquider, more liquidy. So it's not quite a gel, but it's a thick liquid, almost like a lotion, but a little bit thicker than that. So that's the thickness that we're going to work towards today. So we are ready to get started. I'm going to suggest that you heat up your water. It'll help the hyaluronic acid dissolve a little bit easier. It's tricky to get this stuff to dissolve because it's lumpy and it takes a while to stir in. It's kind of like stirring flour in gravy. It takes a while, requires some patience. So as far as the ratio, if you have 2 ounces of water, I suggest you put in about a teaspoon of the hyaluronic acid. I have a 1/4 teaspoon here, just so I can use small increments if necessary. So we'll go ahead and measure. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you feel like you are just not getting anywhere and you have lumps and you can't get the solution to dissolve, you can put it in the microwave and heat it up again. Just be careful not to bubble over, because then you lose all of your product. So just stir, and then if you see little lumps in there, just push them gently against the side and try and get the material just to break apart and become a solution in the water. And if you have measured out 2 ounces, you should get a pretty nice serum-like consistency with that amount that I've given you. However, if you want to add more, you can always do that. Do remember though, if you do have warm water, your solution is going to be runnier than it will be at room temperature. So keep that in mind. If you feel like your solution is still too runny, let it cool off and then reevaluate to make sure that you've got the right consistency. And so while this is working into the water and I'm stirring it and getting it to dissolve, let's discuss at what point during our skincare routine that we use this. So in a previous episode, I discussed a cleanser that I really like, Cetaphil, and it's a lotion-based cleanser, but it's non-comedogenic as well. So it's actually good for acne-prone skin, but it's also good for mature skin. It's non-lathering, so if you do have acne-prone skin or oily skin, you might want a lathering solution. This may not be the best choice, but it will work as well. It's also great for sensitive skin. So a good cleanser, gentle cleanser, non-stripping. And then after you cleanse, pat your face dry, that's when we're going to put on our hyaluronic acid. This is safe to use underneath your eye area. And if you make a gel, you can actually make two batches here. One can be a gel, and you can just make it in a small batch if you're concerned about shelf life, and just make a new one when you're ready. But the other thing you could do is make it and then put it in your fridge and pour it in a couple of containers that are smaller, such as little containers like this. And then you can just make 5 at one time, say, and put them in your refrigerator. And half of your refrigerator can have beauty products like our fridge where you don't have any room for food. But really what's more important, they really are taking over with our dog food and my beauty products that I'm keeping cool. There's really not much room left. And my vegetables for juicing. I almost need my own refrigerator. So you can use this under your eye area. In fact, there are many hyaluronic acid under eye creams on the market right now that for a little half an ounce, 0.4 ounces, you're paying $25, $30 for that. And you can just make your own. And then for the lighter, or for the more serum-like or lotion-like consistency, you can use that all over your face and just pat it on. And it is such a lovely hydrator. And I say hydrator versus lotion because that's really what it is. It's really like adding water to your skin. And then after this dries, it's the most important part of your skincare routine is going to be protection. And again, I've discussed this on previous episodes, but I love the Elta MD Physical Block. And then for your body, I like the Trader Joe's Zinc Oxide. It's just a bare bones, nice all over sunscreen. I think it's $7 for a pretty big tube, 5 ounces. So I have finally got a nice mixed solution here. And I am going to pour it into my little travel size bottle, goop bottle here, which is so cool. If you haven't seen one of these, they're really handy. They don't leak, they're for traveling. And you just pop on the lid here. And it does come squirting out, so that's the only downside of these. I'm gonna hold it over my beaker here so you can kind of get an idea. But I've got a really, really nice mixture that is basically like a nice serum, which is the consistency that I want. There's really no it's not necessary to add any more of the hyaluronic acid to it. But if you want to add more and make it thicker, you can certainly do that. And if you need to heat it up again to help it dissolve, that's okay too. Now, if you want to add a little bit of essential oils, what you can do is just spray it into your beaker. I should have done this before I poured it into my bottle. But you can just spray a little bit of the essential oil emulsified mixture that we did last time, or if you've made a new one. Hopefully you like that blend that we made. And then just mix it in, and I still have some room in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour that in here. And then you'll have some scented hyaluronic acid. My preference is plain. When I'm doing a hydrator like this, I just like simplicity and I really don't like any fragrance, but that's your preference. And again, there are healing benefits and depending on which essential oil that you use. So that concludes today's episode. And if you have any questions or comments, please don't forget to make a comment in the comment section. So we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.